Welcome to our deep dive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, into ancient civilizations.
Yeah.
We're going to be looking at some of the common threads that tie these societies together,
Fun.
the things that made each one unique,
Right.
and how they still impact us today. You know, you shared an excerpt from Britannica, kids,
Okay.
on ancient civilizations.
Right.
And it's kind of the perfect starting point, I think, for this journey.
Yeah, it's amazing to think how these societies,
Right.
they developed independently but still
Yeah.
had so much in common.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Yeah, and Britannica, defines civilization as
Right.
people living peacefully in communities with a certain level of development.
Okay.
So, I mean, when you hear the term ancient civilization, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
I think for a lot of people,
Yeah.
it's probably those iconic images.
Right.
Do you think pyramids,
Yeah.
emperors,
Yeah.
lost city?
They sure.
But when we kind of dig a little deeper,
Yeah.
we see that civilization is really about like a fundamental change
Okay.
in how humans lived
Yeah.
and interacted with the world.
For sure. Yeah.
Like how did they do that?
Right, and that change was largely sparked by the agricultural revolution.
Oh, wow.
It's not just about planting some seeds.
Okay.
This was a huge GE turning point for humanity.
Oh, I see what you mean.
It changed everything.
Absolutely.
Right.
Imagine like a world where
Okay.
you're constantly on the move, you're searching for food,
Yeah.
and then suddenly you learn to cultivate crops
Wow. Yeah.
and create a steady food supply.
Yeah. Huge.
So you can settle down,
Right.
build homes,
Yeah.
and for the first time ever,
Yeah.
people can dedicate themselves to tasks beyond just, finding their next meal.
Exactly.
And so we see the emergence of like,
Right.
specialized roles.
Yeah.
Weavers,
Oh, sure.
priests, metal workers,
Right.
all contributing to the growing complexity of these societies.
That's so fascinating to see how that single innovation,
Yeah.
reliable food production,
Yeah.
set the stage for everything else.
It's crazy.
It's like,
Even today,
Yeah.
it's the foundation of our
it really is.
modern societies.
I know.
Now, another thing that jumps out
Yeah.
from the Britannica article is the importance of rivers.
Oh, okay.
All of these ancient civilizations
Right.
seem to pop up along major waterways.
Interesting.
It makes you wonder why,
Yeah, why is that?
doesn't it?
For sure. Like, they knew something
Right.
that we don't.
Right.
Rivers were the lifelines of these civilizations.
Oh, okay.
Literally.
Yeah.
They provided drinking water. They provided a way to irrigate crops.
Right.
And they provided a means of transportation for trade and exploration.
And we can't forget about the yearly floods.
Oh, yeah.
They may have caused damage,
Right.
but they also deposited this fertile silt,
Oh.
which enriched the land
Wow.
for agriculture.
So these rivers weren't just a pretty backdrop.
No.
They played a crucial role
Right.
in the success and
Correct.
growth of these ancient societies.
It's like they were built around the rivers.
Speaking of success, let's head to a region often called the cradle of civilization,
Okay.
Mesopotamia. Britannica suggests it could be the birthplace of the very first civilization.
Wow.
Which is pretty mind-blowing.
It's a strong contender.
Yeah.
Nestled in the Fertile Crescent,
Right.
stretching from Egypt all the way up to modern-day Iraq.
Wow.
And within Mesopotamia,
Okay.
we have the Sumerians,
Oh, yeah. The Sumerians.
a people shrouded in mystery.
They really are an enigma.
Aren't they?
They appear in history with a language that's completely unrelated
Right.
to any other we know.
It's like they came from somewhere else.
And yet they didn't just appear, they thrived.
I know.
Right?
Imagine those massive ziggurats
I know.
towering over their temple towns.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it must have been an incredible sight.
And their development of cuneiform writing
Oh, yeah.
is equally impressive.
It is.
They took simple pictures
Right.
carved into clay tablets and evolved them into a complex system
Right.
of abstract symbols.
Really?
I mean, it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
could their unique language, so different from anything else at the time, have actually pushed them to develop such a sophisticated writing system?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Perhaps they needed a way
Right.
to represent their ideas in a completely new way.
That's a really interesting thought.
Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Could their language have been a driving force behind their writing?
Yeah. Yeah, it makes you appreciate how interconnected these developments can be.
It's crazy how that works. But Mesopotamia wasn't the only place where civilization flourished.
No.
Let's shift our focus to another ancient powerhouse.
All right.
Egypt.
Egypt.
For a lot of people, Egypt instantly brings to mind pyramids.
Yeah, of course.
But the Britannica piece highlights something else that was critical to their success.
All right.
The Nile River.
Oh, yeah.
And its annual floods.
Right.
And get this.
Okay.
The Egyptians could actually predict these floods.
Oh, wow. That's
Isn't that crazy?
That's amazing.
That's pretty wild.
The Nile's floods were much more regular and predictable than the often erratic flooding of the Tigris and Euphrates in Mesopotamia.
Interesting.
So this allowed the Egyptians to create incredibly efficient agricultural systems.
So smart.
Which, really fueled their growth. And of course, we can't talk about Egypt without mentioning the pharaohs.
The pharaohs.
They weren't just kings. They were considered god kings.
Wow.
And this divine status had a profound impact on every aspect of Egyptian society.
Their tombs, especially the pyramids, weren't just elaborate burial sites. They were designed to sustain the pharaohs in the afterlife, reflecting their belief in a deep connection between the physical and spiritual realms.
Interesting.
And speaking of sophisticated systems, we can't forget their 365-day calendar.
Oh, right.
The Egyptians figured that out incredibly early on.
Amazing.
Showcasing their deep understanding of time and seasons.
I know.
Now let's head over to a civilization.
Okay.
It's a bit more of a puzzle.
All right.
The Indus Valley.
Interesting.
It wasn't discovered until 1924.
Oh, wow.
And there's still so much we don't know about them.
It's like a giant mystery box.
Yeah.
We've unearthed these incredible cities like Harappa and Mohenjo-Daro with sophisticated urban planning.
Wow.
Think about it, public baths, granaries, even a complex sewage system.
Oh, wow.
But their writing system remains undeciphered.
Oh, really?
So it leaves us with so many questions about their culture, their beliefs, and what ultimately led to their decline.
That's so interesting.
What do you find most intriguing about the Indus Valley mystery?
For me, it's the level of sophistication in their city planning.
Oh.
They had urban infrastructure that rivaled.
I know, it's great.
And in some cases surpassed other civilizations of the time.
Yeah.
It really makes you wonder, what else don't we know about them? What incredible discoveries are still waiting to be unearthed?
Exactly. And the Britannica article even mentions possible trade links.
Oh, wow.
With Mesopotamia.
Yeah, interesting.
Suggesting these civilizations weren't as isolated as we might think. Imagine the exchange of ideas, goods, and technologies that must have occurred.
Wow.
It paints a picture of a more interconnected ancient world that we often imagine.
It's crazy. It's like piecing together a giant global puzzle, one civilization at a time.
That's a good way to put it.
Speaking of connections, let's journey across the sea.
Okay.
To another fascinating civilization. Ancient Crete.
Oh, wow.
Home to the Minoans.
The Minoans.
The Minoans seem like they were a civilization that really valued art, beauty, and nature.
Interesting.
Their palaces, like the one at Knossos, weren't just impressive structures. They were works of art.
Wow.
With intricate designs.
Okay.
And those incredible frescoes depicting scenes from their lives and mythology.
That's so cool.
It must have been an amazing place to live.
It does kind of paint a picture of a society that seemed to embrace a more peaceful and harmonious existence.
Okay.
At least compared to some of their contemporaries. And their focus on a mother goddess. Rather than a predominantly male pantheon. Like we see in other civilizations. Suggests a unique spiritual worldview.
Wow.
And perhaps a different social structure as well.
It's so interesting to think about how those subtle differences in beliefs and practices could shape an entire society.
I know. It's like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
You know.
What stands out to you about the Minoan civilization?
Their art is undeniably captivating. But for me, It's the mystery surrounding their collapse.
Oh, yeah.
Around 1400 BC. That really grabs my attention.
Okay.
Theories abound.
Okay.
From volcanic eruptions to invasions.
Right.
Even environmental changes. But the exact cause remains a fascinating puzzle.
It's true.
You know, it reminds us that even the most vibrant civilizations are vulnerable.
Right.
And that history is full of these unsolved mysteries that continue to challenge us.
History is never neat and tidy.
That's for sure.
The Minoans are a perfect example.
They are, yeah.
Speaking of legacies, let's jump over to ancient China.
Okay.
A civilization with a history that spans thousands of years.
Wow.
The Britannica article talks about early settlements in the Yellow River Valley, where they developed some pretty impressive technologies independently.
Okay.
Like pottery and silk.
It's a great example of how human ingenuity and innovation can flourish in different corners of the world.
It's amazing.
You know, the Chinese, even though they were geographically separated from the likes of Mesopotamia and Egypt, still managed to develop their own unique writing system. Mastered bronze casting. And even figured out how to produce silk.
It's incredible.
Which would eventually connect them to the wider world through trade.
It's amazing. And their writing system is incredibly complex, using characters instead of an alphabet.
Right.
Many of which were found on oracle bones.
Oh, wow.
Used for fortune telling.
Interesting.
Imagine that the same symbols used to record history and share stories were also used to try and predict the future.
That's so cool.
Right.
What I find fascinating is how these oracle bones give us a glimpse into the Shang dynasty.
Okay.
One of China's earliest.
Right.
They had a king.
Okay.
A noble class commoners.
Right.
And unfortunately slaves as well.
Right.
This social hierarchy with its defined roles and power dynamics is a pattern we see repeated in many ancient civilizations as they grow. In size and complexity.
It's a reminder that for all the amazing advancements these civilizations made, life wasn't always easy or fair for everyone. You know, they struggled with inequality, conflict, and many of the same challenges we still face today.
That's true.
And yet they still laid the foundation for so much of what we consider modern civilization.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Their innovations in writing, calendars, law codes, city planning.
Yeah. Mathematics and even astronomy still resonate with us today.
They do.
There were building blocks that have shaped our world in profound ways.
I know. It's pretty incredible to think that something like the concept of a 365-day calendar, which originated in ancient Egypt, still dictates the rhythm of our lives today.
That's so wild.
I know.
And the echoes of those ancient Sumerian cuneiform symbols are still present in our modern communication systems, even though they look and function very differently.
It's amazing how that works.
Right.
It really highlights how interconnected we are to these ancient cultures.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah. It's amazing to think that thousands of years from now, people might be looking back at our civilization with the same sense of wonder and curiosity.
Yeah.
What will they find fascinating about our time?
Oh, that's a great question.
What do you think?
It's a question that sparks the imagination.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Will it be our technological innovations, our global interconnectedness, or perhaps the ways we've grappled with challenges like climate change and social inequality?
Yeah.
Only time will tell.
It's a humbling thought.
It is.
But for now, let's bring it back to you.
All right.
We have explored the bustling cities of Mesopotamia, marveled at the pyramids of Egypt, and pondered the mysteries of the Indus Valley.
It's been a journey.
We've seen the common threads that tie these civilizations together, like the importance of rivers and agriculture, and the unique aspects that make each one stand out.
And as we wrap up this deep dive, I hope you come away with a sense that we've only just scratched the surface.
Right.
You know, the world of ancient civilizations is vast.
Yeah.
And there's always more to learn, more to uncover.
For sure.
And more to ponder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you had a chance to hop into a time machine and visit just one of these civilizations,
oh, wow.
which would it be?
That's a tough one.
What aspect of their way of life intrigues you the most? That's something to think about as we finish up our exploration today.
Maybe this deep dive will spark your curiosity to explore further.
Right.
There are so many incredible books, documentaries, even online resources dedicated to uncovering the secrets of these ancient cultures.
Thanks for joining us on this journey through time.
Oh, it's been my pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new, gained a fresh perspective, and maybe even felt a sense of awe at the ingenuity and resilience of our ancient ancestors.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world around us.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah. Great.
No,
the Minoans seem like they were a civilization that really valued art, beauty, and nature.
Yeah.
Their palaces, like the one at Knossos, weren't just impressive structures. They were works of art.
Oh, wow.
With intricate designs and those incredible frescoes depicting scenes from their lives and mythology. It must have been an amazing place to live.
It does paint a picture of a society that seemed to embrace a more peaceful and harmonious existence.
Okay.
At least compared to some of their contemporaries.
Yeah, for sure.
And their focus on a mother goddess.
Right.
Rather than a predominantly male pantheon.
Right.
Like we see in some other civilizations.
Right.
Suggests a unique spiritual worldview.
Yeah.
And perhaps a different social structure as well.
It's so interesting to think about how those subtle differences in beliefs and practices could shape an entire society.
Yeah, it's like a ripple effect.
What stands out to you about the Minoan civilization?
Their art is undeniably captivating.
Yeah.
But for me, it's the mysteries surrounding their collapse around 1400 BC.
Oh, yeah.
That really grabs my attention. Theories abound.
Right, like what?
From volcanic eruptions to invasions, even environmental changes.
Wow.
But the exact cause remains a fascinating puzzle.
It's true. History is never neat and tidy.
It really isn't.
And the Minoans are a perfect example of that.
Yeah, they are a good example.
Speaking of legacies, let's jump over to ancient China.
Oh, okay.
A civilization with a history that spans thousands of years.
Wow.
The Britannica article talks about early settlements in the Yellow River Valley, where they developed some pretty impressive technologies independently, like pottery and silk.
It's a great example of how human ingenuity and innovation can flourish.
Yeah.
In different corners of the world.
It's amazing.
The Chinese.
Right.
Even though they were geographically separated from the likes of Mesopotamia and Egypt.
Right.
Still managed to develop their own unique writing system. Mastered bronze casting.
Wow.
And even figured out how to produce silk, which would eventually connect them to the wider world through trade.
It's incredible.
I know.
And their writing system is incredibly complex.
It is.
Using characters instead of an alphabet.
Yeah.
Many of which were found on oracle bones used for fortune-telling.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Imagine that the same symbols used to record history and share stories were also used to try and predict the future.
That's so cool.
What I find fascinating
is
how these oracle bones give us a glimpse into the Shang dynasty.
Okay.
One of China's earliest. They had a king.
Okay.
A noble class commoners and, unfortunately, slaves as well.
Yeah.
This social hierarchy with its defined roles and power dynamics is a pattern we see repeated in many ancient civilizations as they grow in size and complexity.
It's a reminder that for all the amazing advancements these civilizations made, life wasn't always easy or fair for everyone.
Right.
They struggled with inequality, conflict, and many of the same challenges we still face today.
And yet they still laid the foundation for so much of what we consider modern civilization.
Absolutely.
Their innovations in writing calendars, law codes, city planning mathematics, and even astronomy still resonate with us today.
Yeah.
They were building blocks that have shaped our world in profound ways.
It's pretty incredible to think that something like the concept of a 365-day calendar, which originated in ancient Egypt, still dictates the rhythm of our lives today.
That's so wild.
I know. And the echoes of those ancient Sumerian cuneiform symbols are still present in our modern communication systems.
Right.
Even though they look and function very differently.
It's amazing how that works.
It really highlights how interconnected we are to these ancient cultures.
For sure. Yeah, it really is amazing to think that thousands of years from now, people might be looking back at our civilization with the same sense of wonder and curiosity.
I know, right? It really makes you think.
It does. It does.
Like, what will they find fascinating about our time?
Yeah. What do you think?
Oh, man, that's That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It really sparks the imagination, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
I mean, will it be our technological innovations?
Yeah.
Our global interconnectedness? Or maybe the ways we've grappled with challenges like climate change and social inequality?
Right. Those are really big ones.
Huge issue. Only time will tell, I guess.
Yeah. It really is a humbling thought.
It is. It is.
But for now, let's bring it back, to our listeners.
Okay, yeah.
We've explored these bustling cities of Mesopotamia, marveled at the pyramids of Egypt, and pondered the mysteries of the Indus Valley.
Yeah, we've been all over the place.
We've seen the common threads that tie these civilizations together, like the importance of rivers and agriculture.
Absolutely.
And the unique aspects that make each one stand out.
Yeah, and I really hope as we wrap up this deep dive that, our listeners come away with a sense that we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, for sure.
The world of ancient civilizations is vast.
Yes, huge.
There's always more to learn, more to uncover, more to ponder.
Absolutely. And I think that's the beauty of history.
It is.
So if you have the chance to hop into a time machine and visit just one of these civilizations, which one would it be?
Oh, man.
What aspect of their way of life
intrigues you the most? I mean, that's something to think about as we finish up our exploration today.
Yeah, I hope this deep dive sparks some curiosity for our listeners, to explore further. There are so many incredible books, documentaries, even online resources.
Oh, yeah.
Dedicated to uncovering the secrets of these ancient cultures.
Right, and I think that's what's so fascinating about this topic.
I agree.
Is that it's so much more than what we learned in like a textbook.
Yeah. It's a living, breathing thing.
It is.
These are real people.
Right.
Real lives.
And we can learn so much from them.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks for joining us on this journey through time.
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
We hope you've learned something new, gained a fresh perspective, and maybe even felt a sense of awe at the ingenuity and resilience of our ancient ancestors.
Yeah, me too.
Until next time, keep exploring.
Yeah.
Keep questioning and keep diving deep into this fascinating world around us.
Awesome.
Great talking to you.
It's been great talking to you, too.